This is one of the coolest 110s I have ever seen, coming to a build cost of over £160,000. Let's break it down for you so you can see one of the most powerful 110s ever built. Welcome back to Behind the Scenes at Nene, where we break down some of the real icons we have here at Manor Farm, with probably the biggest collection of Defenders anywhere in the world. Now, the phrase V8 is pretty powerful. You think of American muscle, real, raw, let loose power over refinement. That surplus, glass half full philosophy of engineering. That is so utterly not British. Britain is refined, it's careful, it doesn't shout, it simply does. So, to take the mascot of the USA's automotive sector, even though the V8 is technically French, and put it into something so quintessentially British, it might as well have "Glory to the Empire" plastered all over the side. Well, let's just say Anglo-American marriages haven't always turned out the best. But what else? What deserves to be transformed further than perhaps the chaps at Solihull ever intended? Now, for you nerds who are going to say, oh, well, Land Rover's already had 3.5 litre V8 back in the 1980s. Yes, well, obviously I'm not going to talk about something twice my age that can't keep up with Granny in her Renault Twingo. V8s are raw power, and married to the classless car, designed for ambitious driving for anyone, anytime, any place, anywhere, well, that might be something. And it does work. But why? Why do these boxes of tea and colonialism just take off when you swap that sensible 2.2 for a real demon? Well, for starters, they're just so bloody light. You see, a Defender literally is just a steel chassis, aluminium panels and a few seats. With all the other bits, of course, but you get the point. There's no flock of unnecessary comfort controls, making sure that every lane is assisted and every seat is heated. So when you put some real power behind it, it just starts getting ridiculous. In a 90 with certain V8s, you can see 260 to 300 brake horsepower per tonne. That competes with an M3 and even the Lamborghini Gallardo. So they're fast, but more than that, cars like this are a painful reminder that our best days of pure diesel or petrol fueled madness are behind us. And before too long, it'll be a privilege to drive and hear that unreal gurgle unfold as your right foot hits the floor. Now, let's talk about what I'm teasing you all with. Starting life as an innocent 110 hardtop, this Land Rover has been plucked from the herd and turned into something absolutely monstrous. Even as I'm driving it now, it really hits you on how much engineering and time and passion goes into creating something like this. Now, you might say to me, oh, 170 grand, I'm just going to go and buy the latest Ferrari. And that's fine. Go and enjoy your sports car that does turn heads, and in this country can accelerate really quickly up to 70 miles an hour. But in something like this, a relatively common sight on the road, and a car that's got so much history, not just through the last century, but in people's lives. The amount of families, especially around the countryside, that can look at this vehicle and feel that warm nostalgia is astounding. So when you see someone with a slightly deeper pocket taking something to this level, people turn heads not just out of jealousy, but out of pride to see that our roads are staying British. Now, I think that's enough anecdotal waffle about how cool something like this is. Let's start talking about what's actually in this thing. And I think it only fair we start with the main attraction, the tuba of this orchestra. A naturally aspirated LS3 6.2 litre V8 putting out 430 brake horsepower before all the other changes we're going to go through, making the 2.2 that was in this seem like it was meant to power a lawnmower. Most commonly found in the Corvette C6 and Camaro SS, the Americans definitely know how to have a lot more fun under the bonnet. But it works so well, almost tripling the horsepower and in some models dropping the 0 to 60 below 5 seconds. I mean, the LS3 isn't even that far off weighing the same as a TD5, meaning the front and rear loading isn't really affected much. It's almost like this thing was made for a Defender. Moving into what has the pleasure of changing gear for all that power is a low car shifter, one of the highest quality aftermarket shifters available, paired with an optional manual sport mode if you want extra control over all that power. It is repping a whole host of bespoke parts through the vehicle, including the exhaust, making sure that all that extra go is put to the best use it can be. Converted by DT Engine Solutions, this is one of the nicest V8 conversions you'll see anywhere. And looks wise, at risk of God forbid disagreeing with someone on the internet, I think we'll just use the word striking for now. This Hermes orange and black two-tone interior is luxurious. The subtle accents of stitching alongside things like the custom automatic gear display give it a real sense of time and effort put into this. And it's all here in the cockpit. You've got 430 horses under your right foot, a full air suspension control in your left hand, and even a colour-coded armrest, solving that I've got nowhere to put my right arm problem that certain really masculine men online parade about. But you wouldn't know it from afar. They've kept the classic 110, even using really common but stylish sawtooth alloy wheels. Now, I feel like it's worth reminding people, before you comment on the unholiness of replacing even a single bolt from factory in Landrover, that it's builds like these that have made these cars, albeit slightly less extreme, but you get the gist. At the end of the day, what makes me so proud to work with them is that these are individual cars, and I personally can't wait to see who it chooses next to keep blasting it around our British roads. So thank you very much for watching this episode's behind the scenes at Nene. Something a little bit different this week. We don't often get the chance to, cover these super duper V8, monster cars, but it's a real pleasure for me too. And I'm glad you guys are getting to learn a bit more about how people are taking the last few remaining Defenders. Well, I say few. How people are taking the last Defenders and doing all these sort of crazy things with them. So if you did enjoy, please subscribe. And if you want to see any sort of specific content about any of the cars on my right or my left, please do let me know in the comments and I can see if we can make a video. But yeah, thank you very much. Have a nice week and I'll see you next week.